All right, so this is take three or take four already because I can't talk half the time. But anyway, welcome to Critical Weight Theory. And today I'm reviewing America's Surveillance State, a 2014 TV miniseries that takes a hard look at the extent of government surveillance in the United States, particularly in the aftermath of 9/11. The series delves into the delicate balance between national security, as they call it, and individual privacy, raising critical questions about civil liberties and the ethical implications of living under constant surveillance. I want to start by saying that my views are not entirely radical in either direction. As I generalize fairly often, I think every society has police powers. The question is, what form will they take? Or should they take, really? And a while back, I posted this on Blue Sky. I said, it's easy to be suspicious of government and say, why do we need cameras? We're not that bad. But security cameras can help identify who started that bar brawl, or maybe that was the serial killer we're looking for caught on security cam footage. That's how it is defended. And someone responded, solved cases are wildly down, like record low cases solved. You know what's more valuable than a hellish panopticon state? Community cooperation. And that was their answer to my uh, original statement. And my response sounds like a bit of a false dichotomy implied here. I think there can still be community cooperation and at least some security cameras about, and without society being some absolute totalitarian nightmare. Plus, crime rates are mostly trending down in the USA over time. And that was, my final response to that person. And plus, I want to add now, I don't think the presence of cameras is making it more likely that solved cases are wildly down. I would say that probably has more to do with police incompetence and stuff like that. So, it's a little bit of a red herring, to be honest. So, all right, that's a little bit of background on how I feel about, the use of security cameras and surveillance just in general in society. I don't necessarily think it's always a nefarious thing. And in fact, if you expose crimes or just antisocial behavior by using a security camera or something like that, it's not it's not necessarily a bad thing, all right? So, let's look at the series now. America's Surveillance State offers a comprehensive exploration of how technological advancements have empowered the government to monitor communications, track movements, and collect data on both American citizens and people around the world. The series is particularly relevant in the context of post 9/11 security measures and the ongoing debate over the trade offs between safety and privacy. The documentary is notable for its in depth approach, using interviews, expert analysis, and investigative reporting to provide viewers with a well rounded understanding of the surveillance apparatus. Is not just a presentation of facts, but a thought provoking commentary on the world that we live in today. And the documentary looks at the so called Snowden effect. One of the documentary's strengths lies in its exploration of the impact of Edward Snowden's 2013 revelations. Snowden, a former NSA contractor, exposed the scale of the National Security Agency's data collection practices, bringing to light programs like PRISM. These revelations sparked a global conversation about privacy and government overreach, making America's surveillance state all the more pertinent. And the series is often viewed as a response to the growing public concern that followed Snowden's disclosures. It examines not just government activities, but also the complicity of private companies and the mass collection of data, adding another layer of complexity to the issue. So it deals with ethical and legal implications, and of course, some foundational ethical uh, quandaries that a person might raise up. So America's surveillance state doesn't shy away from tough questions. It challenges viewers to think about where we should draw the line between national security and personal freedom. And of course, it doesn't go quite as far into these topics as one might possibly imagine, but it does a pretty decent job for sort of an entry level exploration. The documentary raises ethical concerns about the extent of surveillance and its potential to infringe on civil liberties, which remains relevant today, just as it was, decades and decades ago. I mean, really, these concerns even predate modern technology, of course, but with the pervasive use of high tech, it's only more relevant. The series explores the legal frameworks that enable such surveillance, including the so called Patriot Act and other post 9/11 legislation. It provides a critical look at how these laws have been used to justify extensive monitoring and data collection, often with little to no public oversight. So, it also provides a creepy yet compelling narrative, really. One of the more unsettling aspects of the documentary is its discussion of programs like PRISM, which is reminiscent of the fictional Skynet from the Terminator franchise. You know, I enjoyed the Terminator movies as a kid, but I didn't really want to live in the Terminator movies. Although I suppose that it would make life exciting, though, wouldn't it? But anyway, the parallel draws attention to the often dystopian nature of modern surveillance, making the series not just informative, but also eerily compelling. And oh, wait, they say Skynet is actually real now and is a program by the US National Security Agency that performs machine learning analysis on communications data to extract information about possible terror suspects. So they're literally self aware of how creepy their program is and title it in a way that is like a wink to a dystopian sci fi franchise about self aware machines that threaten to wipe out humanity. Well, isn't that cute? Yes, look into it. Skynet is a real thing. So it's it's a little bit freaky how much life can imitate art sometimes. And the documentary's tone and pacing keep viewers engaged, guiding them through complex topics in a way that is accessible yet profound. It's a series that encourages viewers to think deeply about the world we live in and the potential consequences of unchecked surveillance. So it's a timely and necessary watch. Well, I wouldn't say it's necessary to watch this one necessarily, but to watch a movie, something like this, every so often. A real life documentary that really encourages viewers to question the nature of their society. Like how the the powerful and well connected are powerful and well connected, and how much the high tech world we're living in might need to be, I guess, reeled in a little bit. So, America's Surveillance State is a timely and necessary documentary, like I said, and it sheds light on the ongoing debate over privacy and all that stuff. But it's also something that could be expanded upon. I think I think that with this documentary, you really could do a little bit more digging yourself because it doesn't cover every topic. It doesn't go completely into the histories of all of these topics or anything like that. So feel free to responsibly dig into more of this information, and while keeping in mind that there's some genuine conspiracy theory type garbage out there that could seriously derail any quest for truth because you might get sidetracked into a bunch of nonsense, you know. So keep an open mind, but also don't keep your mind so open that your brain falls out. And if you're interested in the exploration of technology, security, and ethics, it's a documentary that you should check out. It's not just about what's happening now, but about what could happen in the future if we don't carefully consider implications of the surveillance state. So, thank you for joining me in this review. Stay informed, stay questioning, and remember the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Or something like that. I don't know. Whatever you want to say. That sounds really neat. All right. Have a good one.